Hello and welcome to Nice and Blunt. I'm Adam Riancho, and it's time for another live stream. Let us begin. Oh, we missed the intro. Let's do that again. Sorry about that. There were some technical difficulties when I was setting this up and had to restart my computer. That's why there was a minor delay. Anyways, we are here on Underdog. We're gonna hop into some, I think, flock community contests. I'm not too interested in the pick six-person drafts. Maybe not for the live stream. And then also the first quarter might be interesting, but for the sake of the live stream, we're very close to the season. I think we need to be in some regular format drafts. So we're going to be hopping into the flock community contest. I think we're going to be doing 2 of these. I am a bit tired. I woke up at 4:30 in the morning earlier today. So I've been up for quite a while. I'm not going to be live streaming forever. Anyways, I don't think the delay today is too long, but last time we were streaming, it was almost 12 seconds. So I'll let you know in the chat when I'm joining. If you want to be drafting with me, look for the join now in the chat. I will be dropping that in a few seconds if you want to hop in. So just a reminder, this tournament here on Underdog, it's a $10 entry, and if you do not finish first, you are essentially last. Even if you finish first, you're not guaranteed any money. You got to win twice in the playoffs. Week 15, week 16, you got a 50-50 shot in those matchups, 1 out of 2, in order to get to the final. And then the top 100 people in this tournament do have a shot at 10K. So your odds are kind of slim. We got to finish first in this pod, and there are some strategies involved to try and increase our odds. So look for the join now button. I will be dropping it in just a few seconds. I hope you're ready. All right. We are in 10 spots open. So hopefully if you want one, you can get one. There are now 8 spots available, and hopefully this does not take forever to fill. But odds are we'll be underway pretty shortly. I doubt this is going to take too long. Anyways, good to be back. Yesterday, I did not do a stream, but I was pretty busy yesterday. So it just is what it is. And then today I finished editing the updated wide receiver rankings video, and that is currently exporting. So that'll probably be posted in 4 hours. I don't know how long that's going to take exactly to export and upload, but by the end of the night, I will be dropping my top 80 wide receiver rankings. So if you're playing those deeper formats, or if you just want my rankings for the sake of best ball, because these drafts do go pretty deep, that'll be dropping later tonight. And who knows, I might update them one more time after week 3 of the preseason. But we're getting very close. Some leagues have already drafted. Most of y'all, though, are drafting after that final preseason game. And in the subscriber league, we are 1 week away from our draft. In 7 days from now, at 7:15 p.m., the subscriber league auction will be live on YouTube. So keep your eyes open for that. Mark your calendars if you're interested in watching. That's going to be a lot of fun. I cannot wait. That is clearly my priority in terms of my redraft teams this year. I've whittled it down to only 2 teams. I don't have the time to be fully invested in more than 3. And I've kind of noticed even that third league, sometimes I kind of don't take as seriously. So I only do 2 leagues during the season. I keep myself, sharp, and I like to really focus in on the leagues I care about. That's why I like best ball. You can not give a shit once you stop drafting, and you still have a lot of chances to make a lot of money. But looks like Jason Calhoun is in here with us. Did I get the live chat set up? Hold on. Okay, this lobby's just full as of now, so we're gonna find out our pick very soon. Looks like we got pick 3, but Jason Riverat is drafting with us, and he is in there at pick 7. If you are in this draft with me, let me know. But if not, If you want to hop into the second one, we will be doing at least 2 of these. Probably only just 2. I will be honest, I'm kind of tired. But yesterday, yesterday was interesting. I was dealing with some back pain. This is just a complete side note, some story time. I think I had like sciatica. Like I think my sciatic nerve was inflamed or whatever the right term is. And I'm not a doctor. I do not know if this is going to work for everyone, but I also played a round of golf. I played 9 holes, and that shit fucking helped a lot. Like I don't have any pain today. I did wake up with some lower back pain, but like all of the pain in my leg from that situation was like gone by like the 4th hole. So maybe if anybody else is dealing with something like that in the future, consider going to the driving range. I did walk the course. I did walk 9 holes, and I think walking also helped a lot. So just something to keep in mind. Just a tip. But if it worked for me, hopefully it works for y'all. There are some exercises you can do as well. Anyways, we're pick 3. We go CeeDee Lamb. In general, I'm usually drafting the elite running backs early on, and I may regret it, but let's at least get one elite wide receiver on this team and then grab the rest of our players. Let's mix it up. I don't have as much CeeDee Lamb as of late in the early first round as maybe I need in order to win. Like sometimes having that truly elite stud wide receiver is key because it's hard to replicate that level of points at that position. So we go CeeDee Lamb today, but if you wanted to go Barkley, if you wanted to go Gibbs, that's not a problem either. And generally, I do focus on elite running back early on, but let's mix it up. Let's be a little different. There's still some good running backs you can get around the 2-3 turn most of the time. So that's the strategy today, and we'll see how this works out. But not only did the golf help my back pain, I also played pretty fucking well. It was a 9-hole par 33. So there are no par 5s on that course, but most of them are par 4s, only 2 par 3s. And I shot a 38. I was only 5 over par on those 9 holes. So if you expand that to 18 holes, that would have been a 76. Granted, the par is only 66. 5 over par on 9 holes. I had a good evening on the golf course. That was really nice. Anyways, we got some comments. Kyle is asking in the chat, do you keep Josh Allen or Derrick Henry? 12-man half PPR. I draft 10th, Henry in the 1st, and Allen in the 3rd. If you're keeping Allen in the 3rd, I agree with James here. I think I would go Josh Allen in round 3. Because if you give up your first-round pick, you're still going to have a first-round pick, you know? You'll still be on the clock in round 1, and you can probably still get Henry if that's who you want. I think I'd go Josh Allen, though. But Josh Jacobs off the board, and the best running back left available is Jonathan Taylor. We took CeeDee Lamb first, so let's grab our elite running back. I think a lot of the receivers here at this turn are kind of all pretty much the same, and I do see like a big tier break between still like a top 12 running back. Some have Taylor ranked in the top 10. I think I have him at 11, if I'm not mistaken. Much different than running backs that may get scooped up in the coming round. So CeeDee Lamb, Jonathan Taylor, safe start. Can't complain. And then that team at 1 goes Chase and T. Higgins with McBride. I would have been happy if I got McBride there, but not the end of the world. Let's remember the setting we're in. We have to finish first. We have no room for error. Second place means nothing in this tournament, and that's where I think having an elite quarterback is going to help me a lot. So that's what I'm going to do. It's between Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson, and I don't really see much of a difference between the two. The reason I'm taking Josh Allen is because I have less exposure to Josh Allen. I want that elite quarterback, and I'm overweight on Lamar. I'm slightly underweight on Josh Allen. So that's why I'm going with Allen. So starting pretty balanced. Technically, we have the rainbow strategy so far, but there is not a tight end value that I will be coveting in the fourth round. So there's not going to be a full 4-round rainbow, but having the elite QB, I think in this tournament specifically, is a good strategy. Maybe it's not the winning strategy. Maybe getting like this year's Baker Mayfield, someone that finishes top 6 at the position that you can draft outside round 12 is the right way to go. But to expect that level upside from a quarterback outside the top 120 picks, usually it doesn't happen. So let's just lock up some elite production at this position. It's also going to allow us to only draft 2 quarterbacks, and that extra roster spot that's not a QB will also be helpful as well. So we need to be the best team among these 12. And Riverat in here with us maybe agrees with the strategy. He does go Jaden Daniels at pick 31. So wide receiver, running back, elite QB is also the strategy for Team 7. But Travion, early 4th round pick these days at pick 38. I think it's fair. And in all honesty, I'm starting to think maybe Travion Henderson might be more valuable than Omarion Hampton. Like, I can't say for sure if Hampton's going to be as involved in the passing game as Travion, and especially with Slater going down, he doesn't have that like tiebreaker of like the elite, left tackle and right tackle combo. Hampton I still think is a great pick. I still have Hampton in the top 13, but could it be possible that Travion is more valuable? It is possible. I wouldn't rule that out entirely. Damn, Adams goes at 42. Good value to River Rat. Jason Calhoun at pick 7. But the team with A.J. Brown does stack him with Jalen Hurts, and Hurts in round 4, a very good value this season. Anyway, on the clock with the next pick. Why is Tyreek Hill plummeting? Sitting out another practice with an oblique injury. I mean, I have some guys ranked above Tyreek Hill in the first place, so I think I'm going to pass as well. But this is odd, kind of strange. Let's go JMO, and if I can get Tyreek in the 5th, then I'll take him. But something feels weird for him to fall from pick 25 and still be there at 46. Maybe we read the room and just ignore him. Tyreek Hill is 31 years old after all. I also am a little terrified of the Dolphins vibes this season. So maybe this is like stupid to be passing on Tyreek Hill this late. Yeah, team 1 just takes him. Maybe that's going to be the steal of the draft. But I would expect Tyreek Hill to hit the transfer portal this year. I do not expect him to finish the season as the Dolphins wide receiver 1. I've also read a report, I don't know how much I believe it, that Waddle might actually be the wide receiver 1 in Miami this year. And maybe Tyreek Hill's going to miss so much time. Maybe he gets traded. Maybe I go Jalen Waddle here. My rankings would prefer Devontae Smith, but fuck it. Let's take Waddle. I'm extremely underweight Waddle, and in all honesty, I have no idea where to rank him. But if you're telling me Tyreek Hill is hurt, Tyreek Hill misses time, and I'm also kind of like convinced that Tyreek Hill will get traded because the Dolphins are not going to be that competitive this season, we might get 150 targets from Waddle. It is possible. His rookie year, he had 140 targets, and then he's never quite been the same, mainly because Tyreek Hill has really overshadowed him the last 2 years. But perhaps Waddle is going to be a top 20 receiver this season. If that's the case, then I am going to get burned on my Waddle exposure. But yeah, weird vibes surrounding Tyreek Hill at the moment. Let's just take Waddle. Even if it's Zach Wilson, maybe it's the right pick, but no risk it, no biscuit. I'm willing to take on a little more risk than I normally am in these flock tournaments because, like we've mentioned, second place means nothing. You need to finish first. So we'll see what happens. But Breece Hall officially going after Alvin Kamara. I don't know if I'd push him that late. I don't know about that. That's a decent value on Breece Hall. I kind of considered grabbing running back here just because I may get boxed out of the position. But let's see what happens. Right now, Chuba Hubbard is falling to round 6. That's a good price on Chuba. Not bad. So, is there something I'm missing on Chuba? Someone takes Diggs over Chuba. What the fuck? Strange. There he goes. Pick 62. Team 11 scoops him up. But A-Chain goes 15. A-Chain also dealing with an injury. Jonnu Smith was traded. Maybe Waddle's a really, really safe pick now. Perhaps that is a very good selection. We'll find out. But Debo off the board at 66 after Tony Pollard. Pacheco off the board. So Connor is still available. If I get Connor here, I'm really happy I passed on running back that last round. But what does this team do? Team 4 already has 3 running backs, so they need receiver. They go Connor. Damn it. Fuck. That's unfortunate. That's kind of sad. In that case, I might miss out on some good running backs, but I'll just take a very high upside wide receiver, Matthew Golden. But kind of a bummer that Team 4 snipes us on Connor. Good value, but they start off with 4 running backs and a quarterback in the first 6 rounds. Their only receiver is Rashee Rice. That is a risky strategy, especially on underdog. So, would have loved to get James Conner there, but Matthew Golden's still a very good pick in round 6, so not the end of the world. Not going to cry about it, but would have been nice. Montgomery off the board. Feels like the logical pick. That team at 1 did not have a running back at this point. Goes Judy. And running back is just pretty disgusting at this point. Not exciting. I don't like drafting Caleb Johnson, in all honesty. I'd rather go Jaylen Warren, but I don't think he's really worth it at this price either. I'll take Juwan Jennings. He does have that calf injury, but he's been dealing with it for a while. I think he'll be okay. And then Addison is also suspended. Neither of them have like elite production in the first 3 games. Like most likely they both missed the first 3 weeks, but Niners offense should be high scoring. Juwan is going to filter in. And if you really pay attention to how like Shanahan implements his wide receivers, like a lot of the time it's like matchup dependent, where one week you get a fucking blow up game from one guy, and then the next week it's like Shanahan showcases the other one. Like last season, that's what's happened, and that's what's happened many times over. You'll get like a big showcase on Debo, and Ayuk does nothing one week, and then they're playing on Thursday night, and then Debo takes like a big rest, and Ayuk is fucking like 13 target game, 140 yards, 2 touchdowns. Like shit kind of flip-flops in San Francisco, and in best ball, that is not a bad strategy. Keenan Allen goes at pick 81. That's the highest I've ever seen Keenan Allen taken. I mean, As the number 2 in the Chargers offense, undoubtedly Keenan is a safe pick. High floor with Keenan. However, he's still like 33 years old. And similar to Cooper Kupp, if you told me Keenan misses 10 games this year, that would not be a surprise at all. The Chargers are cursed after all. So Keenan might score 7 touchdowns like he did last year in Chicago, but he could also miss 10 games. And I don't know if I'd be reaching on him in round 7. But I think in a way you could kind of justify it. He's not that much different than Jayden Reed, especially with an injury to Jayden Reed. But feels high on Keenan Allen there. All right, so around this turn, I would love to grab Keon Coleman for the sake of the stack, but it's not quite necessary given I'm kind of loaded at wide receiver. I need some running back points. We have Jonathan Taylor and nobody else. Keon goes, so the stack is not going to hit. Jaden Higgins off the board probably saves me from making the wrong decision. It's pretty obvious. I need running back on this team. Question is, who will we take? Not B-Rob, not Joe Mixon. I think I'll take a swing on ETN, but I don't feel great about it. What is Team 4 going to do? They go Cooper Kupp. Yeah, let's just stay safe here. You know what? Let's get ahead of the market. Let's just take him because that team at 1 I think is also going to double tap this position. I'll go JCM. Fuck it. B-Rob is being shopped for a trade. Let's just take JCM right here. I don't fucking care. But ideally, ETN circles back. I'm definitely not taking Brian Robinson. And then Joe Mixon kind of scares me with the foot injury. He's 29 years old. We don't want to be chasing old running backs with a foot injury. Doesn't sound like a wise investment. But if he is healthy, then he's going to be a great pick. But feels very risky. A team at 1 goes Kyler Murray, Zach Charbonnet. Joe Mixon off the board. ETN does make it. So let's go ETN. Our running back core is now Jonathan Taylor, Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt, and Travis Etienne. We do get a Week 17 bring back. The Colts do play the Jaguars. However, I have no real confidence that Etienne is still the RB1 in Jacksonville at that point. It could easily be Bashal Tutin. Etienne could fall off a cliff. But so far, this team is pretty balanced. I don't have a tight end yet. But at quarterback, we have a top 2 option, if not number 1, with Josh Allen. Running back, we have Jonathan Taylor, Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt, and Travis Etienne Jr. And then wide receiver is very strong. We have CeeDee Lamb, Jameson Williams, Jalen Waddle, Matthew Golden, and Juwan Jennings. Pretty solid. But if you told me I could have gotten James Conner instead of Juwan Jennings, I think this team would be really, really nice. But not the end of the world. We're still competitive with who we got. But Baker Mayfield goes 106 to a team that has him unstacked. Also has Burrow unstacked. Interesting strategy from Team 10. But a good price on Burrow. Undeniable value. I mean, on Baker, not Burrow. Burrow at 63 is fine. Baker at 106, though. Especially if you have a Tampa Bay Buccaneer, I feel like it's an auto click. I'm surprised the team with Egbuka did not take Baker. They go Darnell Mooney instead at 104. That does not feel like the correct choice. I'd rather have the stack. That team with Egbuka did not have QB. But Shamrock's in here. What's poppin', Shamrock? Bring me the good luck. Shamrock, I feel like you should have a 4-leaf clover as the profile picture. Good luck charm. But 3-leaf clover is perfectly fine. Okay, so tight end is kind of drying up quickly. Is there still one I like? I don't think so. Njoku's still there. Kincaid is still there. We're definitely stacking Kincaid. Question is, do I take him at 118 or do I risk not getting him at 123? Not sure. But would love to stack Kincaid with Josh Allen. Njoku off the board. So tight end is being pushed up. Shaheed goes. Nah, I'm not going to push it. Tight end's been a little overpriced in this lobby so far. Let's go Kincaid. We need someone at tight end. I don't want to be completely screwed over at that position. I'll go Kincaid. Otherwise, I feel like the top option there for me was like Quinshon Judkins. I can also go Ray Davis here for the Josh Allen correlation. We need running back. I like Ray Davis. Even with James Cook signing his contract, I still like Ray Davis. But then there's some good quarterbacks right now, and QB may dry up. For stacking purposes, maybe I should go Goff. However, I believe Drake May has much higher upside, and now I can just be done at the position. I'm going Drake May. I'm trusting my rankings. I'm going Drake May. Even unstacked, I don't give a shit. Give me Drake May. There's some back stacks available for Drake that still make me pretty confident. But Albie says 75% luck is better than no luck. Absolutely. I will not complain about our added Shamrock luck with 3-leaf clover. Shamrock says, thanks for the ranking videos. You're welcome, my friend. Later on tonight, we will get the top 80 wide receivers out. It was a little busy yesterday, so did not finish editing it. And then today, I was out working. I was on set at 6 a.m. this morning. I had to wake up at 4:30 to get to Universal Studios. Had a good day. But your boy's kind of tired. I'm not going to lie. But here's the team so far. We have Josh Allen, Drake May at QB. Love that. Love that combo. Running back, we got Jonathan Taylor, Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt, Travis Etienne. JCM may be the key that we need in Washington. Granted, I find it very interesting that JCM has skyrocketed up the board as Brian Robinson has lost all value, and no one is really hyping up Austin Eckler. I still think Austin Eckler benefits from the B-Rob trade news. I still think Austin Eckler is somewhat valuable. So he might be an excellent pick given he has not changed in ADP over the last several days. But obviously he is an older player at 32 years old. Maybe he's 31. He's either 31 or 32. I think he's 31. Did miss like I think 9 games last week. Last season. Last week. Eckler's still involved, but Eckler probably misses time. Shamrock asking, did B-Rob get traded? Last I heard, no, but there was a report that the Commanders are calling teams to see if they're interested in acquiring Brian Robinson. He is on the trade block, so it could happen. I don't think there's really like a viable trade candidate. There's really no like landing spot that benefits Brian Robinson, but at the moment, the writing is on the wall. Like they are moving off of Brian Robinson. They do not trust Brian Robinson. They like JCM, and Eckler's also very, very much involved. Caden is asking, how do you feel about the A-Chain injury? You think he will miss a lot of time? In all honesty, I wouldn't I wouldn't feel great about drafting him early round 2. Like I think you should be dropping down Devon A-Chain. The Dolphin situation is very risky. Like everything sounds like kind of a shit show. Like from what I've read, it sounds like the players don't respect their head coach. Like I don't think Mike McDaniel has garnered a lot of trust in the building. But boy, am I happy that we passed on Ray Davis, because Ray Davis does circle back. The only question is, do I take Dallas Goedert instead with the hope that these teams pass on Ray Davis? I don't think I'm going to do that. I think I'm going to go Ray Davis for the sake of the stack. We have Josh Allen. We're invested in Buffalo. I'm going to take Ray Davis here because he was who I was considering with the previous pick when we went Drake May. So I'll just grab him here. Not going to risk it, but I would like to have Dallas Goedert. I'm hoping to get him at 147. And even though we don't have Jalen Hurts, we also get a Week 17 bring back in terms of correlation with the Bills. So I might get sniped here. If I do, I can live with it. But if not, I will go Dallas Goedert. Because the Eagles play the Bills Week 17. But DeMario did go at 141. Sweet. Dylan Sampson off the board. Dope. Yeah, I'll take Dallas Goedert. 100%. Give him to me. All right, so quarterback feels very strong with Josh Allen, Drake May. Love that. 2 quarterbacks I rank in the top 11, and both have tremendous rushing upside. I love that combo at QB. Running back feels a little dicey, but I think the upside is definitely worth it and could definitely pay off. We got Jonathan Taylor, a stud. Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt looking like the guy in Washington, but definitely a gamble. Travis Etienne Jr., big rotation in Jacksonville, but as of today is the RB1. We'll see how long that lasts. And then Ray Davis at a good value paired up with Josh Allen does feel pretty good. Wide receiver, we invested early. We have 5 good options. CeeDee Lamb, top 2 at the position. J-Mo, I think, is top 20. Waddle is a huge wild card. Waddle could be top 15. Waddle could, just like last year, not even finish top 50. Waddle is a massive wild card. That I do not know what's going to happen with Waddle. I've faded him a lot this season. We're taking a risk. Matthew Golden, though, I think is going to be hyper valuable starting week 1. I think a really good pick in round 6 where we got him. I think you could take him in the 5th and kind of like it. And then Juwan Jennings, once he's healthy, I think is good. And then even though we waited on tight end for a while, I think we have some really good options. 2 viable, like top 12 guys in Kincaid for the stack and Dallas Goedert for the week 17 bring back. I like the team. So far, I think we're in very good shape in this tournament. I've not really focused on too many of the other teams. And for the sake of like my team, I think we're doing all right. Shamrock is asking, could this be good for him at all? I believe you're talking about Brian Robinson. I don't think so. I don't really see a landing spot for Brian Robinson that you can be excited about. Like, best case is like Houston if Joe Mixon is banged up, but the Texans already have Nick Chubb and Woody Marks. Like, that would be a rotation. It's not like Brian Robinson is getting all of the touches. And then otherwise, like, there's nowhere he can go where he's like a 3-down running back. Granted, in the first place, he was never a 3-down running back with the Commanders. That's not what he was doing last year, and his volume wasn't that high in general. So I would not feel comfortable drafting Brian Robinson at all. And I've felt that way all off season. I've been fading B Rob ever since these tournaments dropped back in May. I've always been more so on the side of Eckler at a big value in JCM at the end of the draft. But now we're taking JCM round 8. Possibly that could be too high. Anyway, Leor Porus says, I kind of like Waddle, to be honest. There's Dobbs trade rumors, so I like Golden also. Yeah, Golden seems poised for like a week 1 breakout. Like I think Golden's going to be a stud instantly. At some point, we have to get back in at wide receiver, so maybe this is where we do that. But it's pick 166. Tyler Algier has fallen 11 spots. I will take Algier. Very valuable handcuff, similar to like Isaac Guerendo. If Bijan does go down, Algier could put up top 12 numbers. So good value, 11 picks past ADP, and he's not running with an eye patch like Najee Harris is. So let's take Algier. Now we have 5 running backs. I think I'll grab a 6th, given our strength at QB and some strength at wide receiver. We waited a while for our 2nd running back, so I think having 6 is a good idea on this team. But with this next pick, I'll probably get back in at wide receiver. I got to do that at some point. We've waited long enough. I'll keep it balanced. I think I'm going wide receiver here. But Isaiah Likely is kind of calling my name. At this price, I do like Isaiah. Okay, he gets sniped. So not available at all. I'm not going to stack Tua. I don't need Tua at all. Let's go Torrey Horton. Let's do it. He's officially a 15th round pick, one of my favorite guys back in May as well. So just like JCM, I was taking him a lot in round 18. He has not skyrocketed up the board, but like you could compare him to Luther Burden, make a case that he's more valuable than Marvin Mims, maybe even Christian Kirk. It is possible, especially if Cooper Kupp gets injured early in the season. But betting on Sam Darnold is sometimes a bit of a risk. But Torrey Horton round 15, I don't hate it at all. My general philosophy is once you hit the last 4 rounds, take whoever the fuck you want. Even if you're reaching like 30 picks on ADP, if that's who you like, in the last 4 rounds, just get him. Just get him. Leor says, I've heard Dolphins are interested in B-Rob with A-chain injury. That would be interesting. That might be a good landing spot for him. But there is Ollie Gordon. There is Jalen Wright. That would still be crowded. He would not be a workhorse no matter where he goes. Like B-Rob, I think Brian Robinson could literally fall to where like Jaden Blue is going, and it wouldn't sound crazy. Not to me. Anyways, Shamrock asking, what do you think about Chisholm? He's showing out in the preseason, that's for sure. Chisholm looks pretty good. Now, how much do you trust the Patriots wide receiver core? I'm not so sure. I want to be drafting like anyone. In general, I think Demario Douglas has kind of like one of the safest floors. Diggs is definitely going to be the guy, most likely. But if you told me that Chisholm was like more valuable than Kyle Williams, that wouldn't shock me at all. Chisholm could be a really valuable guy. Terry says, those on this full PPR team, Baker, Garrett Wilson, T. Higgins, Bijan, Bucky. Love the running back duo, Bijan and Bucky. Damn. Andrews and Kyron. So really strong at running back here. Good luck with Garrett Wilson. T. Higgins, though, is a stud. Bench has Bo Nix, so strong at quarterback. Aaron Jones, good depth piece. Jordan Mason, so you got both Vikings running backs. I like that. Keenan Allen, Jalen Waddle, Jalen Warren, Shaheed. I may try and shop one of these running backs for a upgrade at wide receiver. I think that's the only thing I might change, especially in full PPR. You're a little thin at wide receiver, but there is some upside with Waddle these days. Should be a high volume guy. I would try to get another wide receiver. I don't know if Jalen Warren is going to be cracking your lineup very often, given the depth you have at running back. But other than wide receiver depth, I think the team is very strong. Like the team a lot. We're on the clock in just a couple picks, so let's see who's at the top of ADP. I'll probably go QJ here. I do think QJ has fallen too far. I don't see much difference between QJ and Trey Harris. In fact, personally, I prefer QJ over Trey Harris. I might be dead wrong on that, but in round 16 at pick 190, I'll take Quentin Johnston. I'm willing to gamble on Quentin Johnston. Some high touchdown upside. In best ball, I think he's worth it this late. But definitely don't be drafting QJ in redraft. That feels like a very unwise decision. No need to gamble on Mr. Drops Quentin Johnston in redraft. He's a waiver wire type of guy. But in best ball, there is no waiver wire. So let's take him. And then the only question I have is, do I need the third tight end or do I need an eighth receiver? Because I definitely want another running back. I think I'm going to take running back here and then decide in the last round what we're going to do. But Sean Tucker goes. There's Roshan at the top of ADP, nursing a foot injury. Kyle Manungai did not suit up 3 days ago. Undisclosed, is not in uniform. Presumably injury related. Oh, and he gets sniped. So instead, what I'm going to do is draft Jonathan Taylor's handcuff. And I am somewhat pro handcuff. It's not always like a necessary decision, but when you consider my running back room, I am hyper reliant on Jonathan Taylor. Like, my depth behind Taylor is JCM, ETN, Ray Davis, and Tyler Algier. If Taylor goes down, I am fucked. However, if I have DJ Giddens, then whenever that happens, if it does, I have the perfect player to slide in for those weeks. If I grab a different handcuff, even if they're more valuable, who's to say that those weeks correlate with Jonathan Taylor missing time? Ideally, Taylor does not miss any time at all. But if he does, that could cost me the number one spot in this league, which if I don't get, I don't advance at all. So for the sake of timing, I am pro handcuff, especially when you're hyper fragile and you're hyper reliant on your RB1 like I am, Jonathan Taylor. So I think for this team, it is a good pick. Now, is it the best pick at the position? I can't tell you definitively, but I think for the sake of my team, I'm very comfortable drafting DJ Giddens on this roster. But Angus is saying Justin Herbert dating a celebrity is super bullish for the Chargers season. I don't know, man. Like, you know me. I'm a Charger fan. I am so convinced that we are just so fucking cursed, bro. Like, I am no longer picking the Chargers to make the playoffs. Like, we cannot catch a fucking break. Najee blows out his eye. Rashawn Slater goes down with a non-contact injury. And now Herbert is going to be distracted with a fucking baddie. I don't know. As much as I love that for him, good job, Herbo. I don't know if it has any value on the football field. But who knows? Maybe it's just like Josh Allen. Maybe Herbert's going to be the MVP this season. Maybe. Anyways, with our last pick, the only decision is wide receiver versus tight end. Can I tolerate Kincaid and Goddard? Can I get away with just Kincaid and Goddard? Question is, at wide receiver, we got CeeDee Lamb, J-Mo, Jalen Waddle, Matthew Golden, Juwan Jennings, Torrey Horton, Quentin Johnston. Is there a wide receiver that I'm even like considering here? I don't know. I think I'm going to go Theo Johnson. I like the upside on Theo Johnson. He did get some good usage in the preseason game. And beyond Malik Neighbors, I don't trust any other pass catcher. We did get sniped on Efton Chisholm, that team at 4 sniped us a few times, but I think I'm comfortable enough with my wide receiver core where I didn't need receiver in the first place. So although Drake May is unstacked, he's got the rushing value where I don't care. I don't need him stacked. Let's get another tight end here because the combo of Kincaid and Goddard is a little risky. Last year, when they were not scoring touchdowns, when they were not hitting their ceiling, they didn't have a very high floor. Like Goddard doesn't always give you more than like 35 yards. Sometimes he kind of goes not like unnoticed in the offense, but kind of just, isn't that involved. He has elite upside, but then some weeks he kind of just takes a back seat because they just don't need him in order to win. So I think the team is good. I think we're in decent shape. The running back room is a little shaky, but I like our wide receiver core. I love our quarterback room. Our tight end room is solid enough to get by. And I think with the chance of finishing number 1 in this league, I think we are viable to do that. Let's hope for the best. If we get second, that'll be a bummer, but it is what it is. And let's just take a look at River Rat's team, who was drafting in here with us. He was at pick 7, and at QB, he has Jaden Daniels and CJ Stroud, only 2 QBs. He has Stroud stacked up with Nico Collins and Jaden Higgins. Love that stack. Also has Christian Kirk and no other Texan. For Daniels, he has him stacked up with Deebo Samuel and Zach Ertz, along with Austin Eckler and Chris Rodriguez. Not bad. So some good stacks for River Rat. His wide receiver core in totality is Nico, Devontae Adams, Deebo, Jaden Higgins, Kirk, Pat Bryant, Tesla, and Roman Wilson. Pretty good depth. I like the receiving core. Tight end room is Kelsey and Ertz. So some veteran guys. 2 of the oldest tight ends. Good luck with both of them staying healthy. I may have wanted to draft Ben Sennett just for the sake of safety with that combo. A 36-year-old and 34-year-old might be a little fragile at tight end, but could definitely work. Ertz, I think, is a great value where he goes. And then running back room is Chase Brown, Breece Hall, Jalen Warren, Ramondre Eckler, and Chris Rodriguez. Not bad. I like the team River Rat. Tight end, a little bit of a gamble, but no risk it, no biscuit. Good team. Anyways, we're gonna do one more. If you guys want to join in, let's get it queued up. I'll get back to the chat first though, but if you want to draft with me, this will be the last draft of the stream, and we are hopping into the Flock Community Contest after I catch up with the chat. Leor Porus saying Egbuka is gonna be so good, especially with the Jalen McMillan news. Oh, what happened to McMillan? I gotta see what happened to McMillan. I can't say I noticed that today. What's the deal on McMillan? Don't tell me he's out for the season. Let me look this up real quick. To start the year on IR with a neck injury. Damn. That's a bummer. That is unfortunate. So IR is like a 4 to 6 week situation. That's a bummer for him. Great news for Egbuka and Mike Evans. Definitely target the other Bucks receivers. That's very interesting. Is it ridiculous to take him at pick 60 and redraft? My draft is in 5 days. Not at all, especially with this news. I love Egbuka. I think he's a top 30 receiver. So, yeah, I would definitely consider that. I don't think it's egregious at all. And then Terry saying, what, you trade away Warren for Ayuk and Pittman? Would I trade away Warren for Ayuk and Pittman? If I have an IR slot, then sure. If I can put Ayuk in the IR, I'll consider it. Pittman kind of benefits from the Daniel Jones at QB situation, along with Josh Downs dealing with an injury. I think I would do that. Warren is not elite. And given you're in a full PPR league, I think I would do that, Terry. I think I would make that trade, especially if you have an IR slot to put Ayuk in. Angus saying, other than Waddle saying he has a hard time catching the ball, the one job a receiver has, he's a great pick. Yeah, otherwise, he's a good pick. Angus wanted Malik Washington. I do have a soft spot for Malik Washington. I really liked Malik last year, and he definitely has breakout potential this season. Round 18, Malik Washington is pretty interesting. Shamrock saying Vele traded to the Saints. That's good news for Pat Bryant. and Marvin Mims, and also Troy Franklin. That's good to know. Jason Calhoun says, "Good draft. Good luck on the next one. Good luck to you too, my friend. Hope one of us, hope it's one of us two that does make it out of this pod." Leor says McMillan is going to be back week 9 apparently. Alex says week 10, and at that point Godwin's probably back too. So McMillan may have no value if he's not going to be there till week 10. That's really bad news on McMillan. Great news for Egbuka, and also great news for Mike Evans. I want to be drafting the two of them like crazy. Keenan Larkin says, "How long is the delay if we'd like to draft with you on Underdog?" I believe it is less than 10 seconds. Let me find out. I want to say it's 8 seconds, but let me find out. Evan, it's 7 seconds. I just counted when I dropped your comment. The delay is 7 seconds. So I will drop it in the chat, but I'll also count it down. Keenan saying, also drafting 7th on ESPN, debating between CMC, Amon-Ra, and Neighbors. Can't figure it out, but who would I go with? I think I'd go McCaffrey. I know it's risky. I know he got hurt last year. If you're sour about it, if you got burned, go ahead and pass. But I think I'd bet on McCaffrey. The depth at receiver is really strong, and the elite upside of CMC is just too high. I think I'd go McCaffrey if he's there at 7. If not, give me Neighbors. It's between Neighbors and Nico Collins. I'll pass on Amon-Ra. Give me either Nico Collins or Neighbors, but I would go CMC if it was me. Shamrock says Kate Otten stock should go up too, right? Yes, he also benefits. Definitely benefits as well. And then Keenan saying, respect, I like CMC too. Yeah, when CMC's healthy, he can finish as the RB1. It's just too much value. I'm not going to draft scared. If it doesn't work out, it's a bummer, but if it does work out, passing on him would suck. Leor says, I don't think Otten will be that good in redraft, but for best ball, yeah. Yeah, Otten is hard to predict, but last year when he was like inserted when Godwin and Evans were out, there was a stretch where Kate Otten was putting up like 11 targets per game. Otten has good touchdown upside. Otten is actually much more interesting, especially with this McMillan news. So that's something to keep in mind. Anyway, I did catch up with the chat, so we are going to hop into that flock contest. If you want to join with me, I will be dropping join now in the chat, but I believe I can also tell you with the delay in mind when to do it. So give me a few seconds. We'll kind of just get this all set. I'm ready to hop in. I think if you click the button right now, it should be synced up with join now. And I am hopping in myself. I was the last person in this lobby. Bummer when that happens. If you wanted in, sorry. It's just bad luck. But maybe it is better luck for you. Maybe you do not want to be drafting in here with me, since only one of us can advance. But I can always fuck this up. I don't underestimate my ability to lose. Best Ball On Call did try. Yeah, I'm always upset when I get like either the last pick in the pod and then the first pick in the pod. That's very frustrating. But Keenan looks like he was like right after us. Bummer. But good luck in your pod. I wish y'all the best. And I have pick 9, so I have a few seconds. I'm going to be right back. I need to refill this glass of water. I will return in a few seconds. All right. We're back. Excuse me. Albie was the first in the next pod. Bummer. Good luck, y'all. Shamrock is asking how many redrafts am I in? I have made a decision. I made it last year. I think it was a really good call. I have narrowed it down to just 2 redraft leagues. Once I get above 3, I start to lose a little interest and I get a little bit more like risky at the draft. But I am in only 2 this year. And whenever I do more than 4, I've noticed that there's only like 2 that I like really care about. And especially with like all of my other time commitments, I think that's the sweet spot for myself. It may not be the right number for you guys. If you guys do more, all the power to you. But personally, what I've found, I am really committed to 2, and I can devote my entire attention. I don't like miss out on waiver wire claims. I don't ever like last second set my lineup. Like I'm locked in when I have 2. Once it goes over 4, I think it's a little dicey. But we have Nico Collins. I am gonna go Derrick Henry here. I am happy with Derrick Henry and Nico Collins. Let's keep it balanced. Best Ball on Call says, I did one on stream trying to let people in. Didn't give a countdown. Last in the room. It happened. Yeah, sometimes that's just the luck of the draw. Someone's going to be the last in the pod. Someone's got to do it. So, unfortunate. Would like to give you guys the chance to draft here on the stream as well. It just did not happen. Keenan is asking, do I have Instagram or X to follow or just YouTube? I have both of them, but I just don't use them. Like, I just don't really post on them. I probably should. It would probably help me, like, expand, the audience and everything. But I just mainly stick to YouTube. All of my rankings and stuff is just posted on YouTube. But I'm going to try and do more. I've been thinking about setting up a TikTok account and posting like some short form content, and then that way I could also use it for like YouTube shorts. I really should, but sometimes I just don't have the time, and hopefully I can get that shit sorted out. I really should have more than just YouTube, but no, I do not really use the other ones. But if you want to subscribe, you can. Maybe things will change, but at the moment you might be disappointed with my IG and X account. I have not touched X in literally like 4 years. It's bad. I'm not on X at all. Shamrock asking, am I commissioner of any of my leagues? Yes, I am the commissioner of the subscriber league. The subscriber league is my baby. That's the one I care most about. And then otherwise, I'm in a league that dates back to my high school days. I've won that league like 4 times in like 12 years. I guess at this point it's maybe 13 years. But I've only missed the playoffs twice in that league. And one of them was last year after I won 2 years ago. But I'm commissioner of the subscriber league. Interesting. The team at 6 goes Bowers and McBride. That's interesting. We are on the clock. And we mentioned the advantage of the elite quarterback in these settings. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go Jayden Daniels here. I could risk grabbing Hurts in the next round, but I personally prefer Jayden just a little bit. Just a little bit. Better passer than Jalen Hurts. David reconsidering Puka at 108 in his draft. Puka goes pick 14 in this one. Well, here's the thing. At pick 8, you're probably not getting Puka back around. So if Puka is your preferred guy, then go ahead and take him. But there are reasons to be very worried about Puka. It's mainly just the Stafford injury, though. Like, if Stafford's healthy, then Puka's a fucking elite elite pick in round 2. Anyways, wow, JSN falls here. Even though grabbing Terry I think is wise, JSN has top 10 upside that I think Terry just does not have. Give me JSN. The vibes with Terry are just a little bit off, but I would much rather have JSN than literally every wide receiver that has been taken other than maybe Evans since like T. Higgins went off the board. I love JSN. JSN in the 4th is fucking great. Set up for so much volume this year. JSN is such a safe pick. I think it would help. It'd probably help. Do I do it? Not really. But it would definitely help. All right. So, anything strange about this lobby? Other than the Bowers McBride team. Oh, wow. That team is really, really sending it. That team at 6 has double elite tight end Jalen Hurts and Gibbs. Not a single wide receiver through the first 4 rounds. That's interesting. But ideally, this is going to be a Deebo Samuel team at pick 64 in the 6th round. So with our next pick, I'm most likely grabbing a running back. It'd be a dream if Kenneth Walker was there, but there's no chance Walker is there at 57. If he is, then I'm drafting with morons. But I would expect him to be taken right here. Like, there, yeah, there he goes. Exactly. Walker in the 5th is a good pick. Breece Hall goes as well. But, perhaps I go a little fragile at running back. Maybe that's a good decision. It depends on the value I get at wide receiver. I never want to lock myself into needing, just a guaranteed decision that overrides the best value. I just hit something off camera. That's what that sound was. Maybe you didn't hear it, but just slapped a gel that I have on my light for the color temperature. But I'm not a Rashee Rice guy. That's for sure. I do not want Rashee Rice. And I might get buried by fading him, but I'm going to go Chuba Hubbard here. I already have a 31-year-old running back with Derrick Henry. Let's avoid the other 30-year-olds. I'll take Chuba. And I also have JSN. There is a matchup correlation in Week 17 between Seattle and Carolina. So that is worth something. I don't know if it's like the most necessary thing in the world, but, worth mentioning just a little bit. It factors into the decision. But I do have Chuba almost ranked the highest. Technically, I have RJ Harvey ranked the highest, but it's a very close ranking between the two. I'll go Chuba. I'm a little thin on Chuba Hubbard this season. But Egbuka off the board. We will take Deebo Samuel. As previously mentioned, I have Jaden Daniels. And then I also rank Deebo the highest at the position. So I'm just sticking to my rankings, really, with this selection here. But I got Jaden Daniels. I want a stacking option for sure. So far the team is very balanced. Jaden Daniels with Nico Collins, JSN, and then a Deebo Samuel stack. Running back Derrick Henry, Chuba Hubbard. Through 6 rounds, I think we're in great shape, Like, I don't think I made a wrong pick at any point so far. But just you wait. We'll regret at least one. There's always one pick you kind of wish you could take back. But so far, that's not the case. Shamrock is asking how valuable is Ramondre with Travion in the mix. Maybe like top 50, but not top 40. I believe I have Ramondre at like 44 at the position. Like in terms of like comparable picks, let me pull up the running back rankings right here. Ramondre goes above JCM. I would not be doing that. I definitely want JCM above Ramondre. But I would put Ramondre in like the Najee Harris, Jaden Blue tier, maybe Tyjae Spears as well. Yeah, that feels like a somewhat similar comp, like late 40s at running back. I don't think Ramondre has much value at all, in all honesty. If I was in my regular redraft league and I left Ramondre undrafted, I would not feel bad about it. I don't think you have to draft Ramondre. He is not a top 40 running back. He's probably top 50, but he like barely. Like somewhere around 45 to 48, 49. Somewhere around there. Trayvon's a stud. Trayvon can do anything and everything. He's so fast. I've been really high on Trayvon all offseason. Not going to back down. Trayvon is my second most invested into running back. I've drafted him almost as much as anyone. The only other running back I've drafted more than Trayvon is Ray Davis. Henderson is in my top 5 this summer on underdog exposure. But I can't say I'm like dying to take any of these running backs here. So I will grab my highest ranked wide receiver, Jaden Higgins. And that's yet another Houston correlation. So maybe this is a CJ Stroud team, but Stroud is not a great fantasy pick. Dev saying I love Trayvon, but he does get hurt. Oh yeah, didn't he get hurt in college? That's one of the reasons why he played all 4 years. Injuries are random. It's hard to project injuries for anyone other than like, the old guys. Injuries can ruin anyone's season, and then they can also not factor in at all. But you can panic about injuries with anyone. But if that's the reason why my Trayvon stock burns me, so be it. I'm comfortable with that scenario. I kind of want to go Tyrone Tracy here. There is some decent hype on Tyrone, but that might not be the best pick. We'll do it. I don't take Tyrone Tracy that often, but with Scadaboo's injury, it's not bad. And Jackson Dart looks decent, so Russell Wilson's going to have to play his ass off in order to keep the job. That does mean the Giants' offense might be decent. Their defense is also looking like a potential stud defense. The front 7 for the Giants, like at least the pass rushers, are arguably the best in the NFL. Giants defense looks scary, so they might be able to keep their opponents in check if the scoring is not like too high in their games. Maybe they run the ball a little bit more. And at least at the beginning of the season, I do think Tyrone Tracy is not really like threatened by Scadaboo very much. Scadaboo's been missing time in practice with an injury, and I think Scadaboo's more like, a dart throw at the end of the season. But Tyrone looks like the guy at least week 1. We'll see how long it lasts. But Dev's saying he's a lot like Kenneth Walker. I do have Trayvon and Kenneth Walker ranked back-to-back. They are very comparable. Both can catch a lot of passes. Very good picks in PPR formats. But in full PPR, Walker probably catches a few more passes, so maybe he's like slightly more valuable. But they're both really talented. Both top 15. The latest I think you could rank those guys is number 15 at the position. Okay, maybe 16, depending on some of your preferences elsewhere. But if you told me that Trayvon and Kenneth Walker were both like top 10 running backs this season, top 8 at the position, I could see it. I could definitely see it. Like, especially Charbonnet, because he has a new offensive coordinator, Clint Kubiak. And in points per game, Kubiak made Alvin Kamara a top 5 running back. last year. Kamara was elite last season. So Walker just needs to stay healthy. If he does, he has league-winning potential. And then so does Travion as well. Like we've seen the Patriots running back one score. Like remember LeGarrette Blount, 18 touchdowns that one year? It's possible you get that from Travion. I wouldn't bet on 18 touchdowns, but if you told me Travion scored 13, 14 touchdowns, I don't think that's crazy at all. He looks so good. Such a dominant player this preseason. And reportedly, he just tears up camp as well. Going into the draft as a Charger fan, was really hoping that we got TreVeyon Henderson personally. I didn't expect Omarion Hampton to be available when they got him, but I was going in kind of hoping that we got TreVeyon Henderson. I was very hyped on TreVeyon entering the draft, but then they took Hampton. And that's probably not a bad decision, you know. Hampton is probably more poised to be a long-term RB1. He is younger than TreVeyon after all. But Dobbins comes off the board. I believe tight end was tight end was highly coveted around that last turn. So let's get in before we get boxed out. Let's go Colston Loveland, one of my favorite picks at tight end. Should be very valuable. FF Explorers has pick 2, got Walker and Sharp. I did notice that. That's a pretty good strategy. Locking yourself into all of the Seattle Seahawks running back touches is not a bad decision at all. The only way it might not work out is if Walker does not miss any time. But even if it's just like 1 or 2 games, Charbonnet has top 5 upside in those matchups. No worries, Shamrock. I don't take it personally. I think I'm going to go Cooper Kupp. And that way we're locking up all of the Seahawks wide receiver points, at least to start the season. I'll probably target Torrey Horton as well later on. But Cooper Kupp at 112 I think is a good value. At least to start the year, I expect Kupp to be pretty heavily involved. Oh wow, Cedric Tillman at 113. That's interesting. I like Tillman, but well above ADP. I wouldn't say it's like the worst pick in the world, but usually you can get him like 3 rounds later. So a little bit strange, but not the most insane thing I've ever seen. Just a very bold pick, that's for sure. Definitely a bold decision at 113. Godwin goes 116. Godwin's been falling a lot. Ayuk is still available as well. And let's remind you of the full roster. We have Jaden Daniels with Deebo Samuel. Running back is Derrick Henry, Chuba Hubbard, and Tyrone Tracy. Our tight end is Loveland. And then our full wide receiver core is Nico Collins, JSN, Deebo Samuel, Jaden Higgins, and Cooper Kupp. So we have double Texans receivers, double Seattle receivers, and Deebo Samuel with pretty solid running backs so far. But Braylon Allen goes 121. I think that's a fair pick, honestly. I don't hate it. But Judkins is still not signed. It's kind of a red flag. But if he is available this season, he may be one of the best picks on the board. He's super talented. Like, he's arguably more talented than TreVeyon Henderson. I don't know if I would say that definitively, but it's an argument to be made. The Browns at least thought that was the case. Wow, Wandale at 128. That's kind of interesting. Um, at this price, I'll take Ayuk. Pick 129. I think is worth it. Ayuk may not come back till week 10, but if you're telling me in the fantasy playoffs he's healthy, he could drop 25 points. He could be a very valuable piece to have. So at this price, after Wandale Robinson, when you put it that way, it feels like a no-brainer. It feels like a very, very good pick. And in general, even though Quinshawn might be a great pick here, I don't like taking Browns. I don't like taking, players with bad karma. It's kind of like the Deshaun Watson argument. Like, it kind of feels destined to fail this year. But maybe he doesn't miss any time. Maybe he's good to go week 1 and never serves a suspension. I don't know what to make of Judkins, so I'm kind of just keeping him off the board. But the price on Ayuk was mainly the only reason why I did pass on Judkins there. Anyways, I could definitely go Stroud given my wide receiver investments so far. However, I think the upside in the Bills' backfield is still really strong. I know James Cook signed, but I can't stop drafting Ray Davis. Maybe it's just because I'm pot committed and I don't want to factor in being wrong there, but around 12, Ray Davis always feels like a good decision. So I'll take Ray Davis, but I almost grabbed a tight end instead. We'll see what happens at QB, but even if Stroud does not circle back, which I'm not expecting, Stroud usually goes in the 12th round. I always have Darnold available later. Darnold I really like in terms of value. I have him in the same tier as CJ Stroud. I actually have him ranked above CJ Stroud. So even though we are double invested in the Texans receiving core, I don't feel desperate to stack CJ Stroud. He was a terrible pick last season. His upside's kind of limited. And his offensive line is not encouraging. Neither is the run game. Texans have some underrated red flags. They're much more of a defensive team than I think they get credit for. But usually people acknowledge their elite defense, but that kind of carries them to some more wins than their offense. At least last year, but might be wrong. Stroud goes to the team at 1. That's okay. I'm okay with that. Unstacked Stroud, however, feels very unwise. He has no rushing value at all. He's like terrified to leave the pocket, basically. Stroud is not mobile. Pitts off the board. Jake Ferguson off the board. I agree here, FF Explorer, that Texans O-line is absolute cheeks. Not envious of it at all. Cobra saying that team at 6 with the bully tight end goes Kyler Murray and Jalen Hurts. I mean, at least they have Trey McBride, but yeah, that team is. They also have Rashee Rice. What a gamble with Team 6. Holy shit. I'm not envious of Team 6. I'll be honest with you. I like this price on Michael Penix in all honesty, but I don't feel desperate about it. I think I'm gonna go Tajay. Because even though Tajay's fallen a lot, I still think he's not bad. He might miss like the first 6 weeks, but in terms of depth on this team, I need him later in the season. I need someone to compensate for Tyron Tracy losing value. So let's go Tyjae Spears. I think in terms of handcuffs, he's still a valuable one to have. Because he's coming off the board after guys like Trey Benson and Tyler Algier. Those guys might be complete zeros. You know, like if you tell me Connor and Bijan never get hurt, then Benson and Algier may crack your lineup like once in this best ball setting. Like they're not safe picks either. I'll go Tajay. I still think he's really talented. And then quarterback is interesting here, but my next pick is 177 overall, and Darnold has an ADP of 180. I'm also the only team with Seahawks receivers. So, what I'm going to do to prevent someone sniping me, this may be unwise, but I'm going to go Torrey Horton here in the 14th. And that way, nobody is going to think to themselves, oh, I'll grab Darnold and Torrey Horton here at the 14-15 turn. I am committed to getting Darnold, and by taking Torrey Horton, not only do I have an insurance policy for Cooper Kupp, but I also disincentivize any other team from sniping me on Darnold. Now, perhaps that was the wrong decision. I kind of wanted Zach Ertz on this team. I kind of wanted to go Ertz and Ben Sinnott. But I will go Torrey Horton. Quincy is saying I'm getting sniped anyways. Here's the thing. The quarterback position is still kind of loaded. Like, Bryce Young has fallen 17 picks. Geno is falling. And then while Richardson is probably not getting taken above Darnold, I'm willing to make the gamble. But let's stay positive. Please don't jinx me, Quincy. But if anybody in this lobby is watching, it's extremely obvious if you just look at my team. Darnold is the obvious pick for me at this next spot. Let's hope it works out. I think Darnold could be a fucking steal. Last year he was a steal. And even though Seattle's not the same as Minnesota, I think they're going to be good. I think they could easily win. Maybe not easily, but they're going to compete for the division. Last year they won 10 games. You can argue he's like a significant upgrade over Geno, but in my opinion, they're kind of just equal. He's just younger and less expensive, so I understand why they pivoted. Also, Darnold is very familiar with this system. His new offensive coordinator was part of the coaching staff in San Francisco 2 years ago when Darnold was the backup. Sweet, let's go. Not going to risk it once again. Let's obviously take Darnold. That's a critical selection here. I've got JSN, Cooper Kupp, and Torrey Horton. I need Sam Darnold kind of desperately, but ideally I get Cade Otton on the way back. We mentioned those injuries in Tampa, the Jalen McMillan injury, the Godwin injury, and then Evans just being 32 does benefit Cade Otton a little bit. Damn, he goes. That's a bummer. Good pick, though, by UAP Society at pick 12. Good selection. So this team is relatively thin at tight end. I think I'm going to need 3, given I only have Loveland so far. And given my receiving core, I could maybe stop at 7. I've got a decent running back core. We have 3 picks left. Barring a snipe right here, I'm going to go Elijah Arroyo. Further invest in the Seahawks pass catchers. Let's go Elijah Arroyo. Let's do it. And then, am I grabbing a 8th receiver? That's the question. I got Nico, JSN, Debo, Higgins, Kupp, Ayuk, and Torrey Horton. I might still want another receiver. Ayamanor goes. I would have liked Ayamanor. But at running back, I have Derrick Henry, Chuba Hubbard, Tyrone Tracy, Ray Davis, Tyjae Spears. What is the running back market looking like? I don't feel desperate for the running backs left on the board. If somehow Will Shipley's still there, which I can't imagine that is the case, I'll take Shipley at a big discount. But He goes in the 170s. It's currently pick 190, and he's not been taken. I don't think there's any chance I get Shipley at 201. I mean, I can dream, but that's delusional. If Shipley's there at 201, that's an auto click, but I would expect him to go off in the next turn right here. Odds are that's going to happen. So if it's not Shipley, I can't say I am dying to take any of these other running backs. Let's risk it. Let's only go 5 running backs. I think that's fine with this build. And then at tight end, I definitely need another one. And I think I'm going to gamble on this. I think I'm going to go Ben Sinnott for the Jayden Daniels stack. Might not be a good pick at all. But if Ertz at the age of 34 misses any time, I think he's going to lose his job. And Ben Sinnott was a second-round pick. Last year we were drafting Ben Sinnott in like the 14th round. And nobody drafted Ertz. And then now the market has flipped in the other direction. It's possible that Ertz is off the field by like week 3. And Ben Sinnott has league-winning upside. It's possible. It's not a guarantee. Big risk, but it's possible. Shipley goes as expected. So in that case, Quincy wants Brashard Smith. Says, first time I ever seen Chris Rodriguez go. Rodriguez was getting snaps in the preseason. I believe even like above JCM. Like in the first quarter, they were using Rodriguez. But yeah, I'm not dying to draft Rodriguez. The only thing is, like, if they do trade B-Rob and Eckler goes down, I wouldn't expect JCM to be like a full 3-down workhorse. You know, like there's still going to be some snap percentage that goes to someone else, and it's going to go to Chris Rodriguez. But yeah, you don't have to draft Chris Rodriguez if you don't want to. It's not that necessary. A.D. Mitchell just goes off the board. I think I'm going to go wide receiver with one of these 2 picks. However, I'm not sure who I'm taking anymore. If McMillan is hurt, we're probably not taking McMillan. I'm just going to grab Ben Sinnott here and then have a little extra time to think about it. Because the difference between a round 17, round 18 pick is not much. And maybe there are some like good players that get sniped, but I don't really care. We could go Malik Washington. That's kind of interesting. Quincy says Yoshivas is a safe pick. That's also a player to consider. But I would like to stack up Jayden Daniels. Let's take a look at the Commanders. Maybe I go Jalen Lane. Getting some first team work earlier in the month. Quincy Jones says Jalen Lane in all caps. You got it, Quincy. Let's do it. Our 8th receiver is going to stack up with Jayden Daniels. It's Jalen Lane. Come on down. Shamrock, thank you for joining us. I'll catch you on the next one. Yes, Quincy, that is the pick. So here is the final roster here on the screen. We went with the 2-5-8-3 build, and at QB we have Jayden Daniels and Sam Darnold. At running back we have Derrick Henry, Chuba Hubbard, Tyrone Tracy, Ray Davis, and Tyjae Spears. At wide receiver we got Nico Collins, JSN, Deebo Samuel, Jaden Higgins, Cooper Kupp, Brandon Ayuk, Torrey Horton, and Jalen Lane. So I'm hyper focused on this team. I have the 2 most valuable Texans. I have all 3 Seattle Seahawks. So if MVS burns me, that's going to be annoying, but I'm not dying to even consider MVS at all. I have Deebo and Jalen Lane, and then the only receiver that's on a different team is Ayuk that we got at a big discount at pick 129. Our tight end core is all young guys. We have Loveland, Elijah Arroyo, and Ben Sinnott. Sinnott is in year 2, but based on his usage last year, in a way, he's kind of also like a rookie. So this team is like hyper focused on just a few different teams. It could be the right combo. It could also end up flopping, but this team needs to finish first, so I'm willing to gamble on it. I might have overdone the stacks just a little bit, but I think it's worth it. I think the team is okay. At pick 9, it's not always the easiest spot to be in, but I think we made it work. I think we're in good shape here. I like the team. So that's going to be it for today's live stream. I hope y'all enjoyed. And look out later tonight. I will be posting my wide receiver rankings updated all the way through the top 80 at the position. So that'll be posted later. If you don't want to miss out, hit that subscribe button so you get all my new content. If you don't want to miss out on any future live stream like the Subscriber League auction a week from today, so excited for that. Ring the notification bell. And otherwise, do me a favor, drop a like on your way out if you have not done so already. If you made it to the end and you enjoyed this video, drop that like. It really helps out the channel, and I would appreciate it. Anyways, hope you guys have a good rest of your Wednesday, and look out for the new content over the next few days. Peace out. Good night.